All right, guys. Thank you for joining me tonight. Let me know how I sound. All right, guys. Thank you for. All right, all right. 5 by 5. Thank you, Charlie. Appreciate it. All right. So tonight's subject, guys, we got a couple of things to talk about. Again, it's a shit show. Everything. It just we all know it's going to continue to get worse before it gets better. Which it getting better. It could be tomorrow. It could be fucking 25 years from now. But with that being said, there's a couple of things that I've been hearing lately. I don't know how true any of it is. Someone gave me another warning date of June 6th, so in 3 days. Supposedly, the Third World War is supposed to kick off. Interestingly enough, being given that warning date, or date that something big is going to happen, or be the beginning of a lot of bad shit, Russia, once again, made more threats about uh, the Third World War being started and that Ukraine was a test run. And this came out of a Russian state media TV. And for the 13th time, they've been threatening us. I just find it interesting that Putin makes that threat. This person gives me this warning date. And so I'm like, all right, let's see where this goes. But still, in all, nothing to be worried about. Wolfmeal, thank you for the donation. So, also with that, interestingly enough, I came across. Actually, I was watching. I forgot this guy's channel's name, but let me see if I could find it without being completely disruptive. Patrick Humphrey. Right, so I'm watching Patrick Humphrey's video, and he talks about the Bilderberg meeting that they're having in June, or rather, sorry, this week. They're having it this week. It started June 2nd to the 5th in Washington, D.C. Now, while the Bilderberg, if I'm not mistaken, they're like a multi-billion-dollar family, they sort of like call the shots, if you will, for a lot of the behind-the-scenes shit that happens. Anyway, on their site, guys, on the Bilderberg group site, they had the key topics that they were going to discuss this year. Brian James, thank you for the donation. And the key topics, guys, from 1 to 14. All right, first one is geopolitical realignments. So obviously, they're looking to get everybody back on the same page. If I'm not mistaken, I've also heard the Bilderberg group being a part of the WEF. And geopolitical realignments is very interesting because it seems like to me they want everybody on the same page. All right, so that's one. Two is NATO challenges. I guess with NATO doing the fucked up shit they're doing, or backhanded shit that they're doing, I guess they want to get them back in tow. They want to discuss China and listen, guys. China is becoming the superpower that they said by 2025 they're going to be the lead in the economic world. So economically, China's going to be at the top of the game. I think Russia's going to be number two, and we fall down to like 5 or 6 or some shit like that. They also want to do I guess, the Indo-Pacific realignment. I guess that's what's going on with Bella Hayes. Thank you for the donation. I guess that's everything that's going on with what's that country in the middle of the ocean? They teamed up with China. I can't remember the name of it, and it's on the tip of my fucking tongue. And one of you guys are gonna say it, but they want a realignment with that. They want to do U.S. tech competition. I'm not sure what that has to do with anything. They want to talk about Russia, obviously, for what's going on. The continuity of government. Now that always, not Taiwan, the other country, not the Solomon Islands. Thank you, P. Claudius, if I said it right. The Solomon Islands. Thank you. That's, I think that's the realignment they want to have right now, being that the Solomon Islands is getting away from their allies, which was the UK and us, and now they teamed up with China. So that was a big out of nowhere move that the Solomon Islands pulled. So, guys, continuity of government and the economics. That's the big one. The Bilderberg meeting is talking about the continuity of government and the economy. Sorry, That to me is again another red flag. Now, continuity of government is pretty much, guys, when there's a cataclysmic disaster or just a disaster in general, who's going to continue to carry the government on, right? So the president of the United States gets killed, or the Speaker of the House gets killed, and the president, vice president, and Speaker of the House gets killed. Like, who takes over? Who's going to run the game? So they were talking about continuity of government. Then they were also talking about disruption of global financial systems. That's another one. Disinformation, guys. Again, that's 3 so far in a row, and that's number 9. Disinformation, everybody's been talking about. They have a medical disinformation bill being talked about in California. The what is it? The disinformation, or what you call it, governance, or the government, what you call it, entity that they had here in the United States that was talking about disinformation and misinformation. They had that office that just recently shut down. So it seems like is looking. Everybody's looking for. So it was called the Disinformation Governance Board. Sorry, I can't believe I didn't remember that. And I did a video on it. So that's the kind of shit that they're talking about at the Bilderberg's meetings. Again, I find it slightly odd that they are talking about this shit now that we have all of these things going on. Number 10 was energy security and sustainability. Clearly, guys, we are having or going to have energy problems, as we're being warned about blackouts every day of the week. Every day of the week, I shit you not, there's an article about the coming blackouts and what to do. You know, get your flashlights, your candles, your batteries, your waters, yada, yada, yada. So, the Bilderberg meeting, guys, again, these are the people that call on the shots, but they're having the same conversations we are having, but at a probably more upscale level. Alexandra the Great, thank you for the donation. Appreciate it. And they want to talk about post-pandemic health. Again, another interesting one, because I read an article just 3 days ago. I read an article about how we are now, because we haven't been around each other in groups, because we've been locked away for 2 years, or people have been locked away for 2 years, we're all getting sick from every little thing that we come in contact with now, like we were kids, right? So our immune system's reset to be weaker. And so we're trying to build it up again, is what our body's doing, is why we're reacting to every little fucking thing we come in contact with. So that was post-pandemic health. Then you got fragmentation of democratic society. Clearly they're talking about here in the United States and the UK. Then you have trade and deglobalization. That's number 13. And then the Ukraine. They want to talk about the Ukraine. So instead of like sticking Ukraine, Russia, and China together, I don't know why the topic list, it was spread out like that. But again, guys, if you go to the Bilderberg's meeting website, matter of fact, let's see if I can pull it up. I'm going to put it in the chat. Hold on. There we go. That's better. I'm going to put it in the chat. You guys take a look at it. So, I mean, apparently they've been having these meetings since 1954. I guess they've been calling the shots since then. You know? Listen, we can look at it as conspiracy. We can look at it as something interesting, as they're trying to fucking blend everything together that the World Economic Forum is trying to do, but they're doing it here stateside. So they're trying to get everybody on board with what they want to happen. That could be a possibility. Or they could be really concerned with what's going on. Who knows? Either way, guys, I just find it interesting that this meeting came about. So there's 120 participants from 21 countries that have confirmed the attendance. You can look at the participant list on their website, because it's pretty fucking long. I wasn't going to read it to you guys. We'd be here for an hour. And that's pretty much it, guys. So that was one of the things that I found interesting that the Bilderberg meeting was talking about. And I granted, with everything going on today, it makes sense why they had a conversation about a lot of this shit. But some of the stuff does connect, but I could be wrong. Right? I could be way overshooting this. So, with that, guys, as far as something isn't right, that's one of them. That was one of the more interesting things I ran across. But the crazy shit is, guys, we have people who think everything that's going on, that it's a coincidence. I don't know if someone was breaking my balls in the comment section, but Simple Man, that's why I heard that number June 6th, and I'm like, I mean, because it adds up, I don't know. I don't know. So that's what people are trying to make that connection, but it's sort of a loose connection, but whatever. I'm not worried about it because we get death dates all the time, or end of the world dates every month. It's a new date. They keep moving the goalposts. That's what I'm saying. So whatever. So guys, with everything going on, there are people that seem to think that this is all a coincidence. There are people they're thinking that these are accidents, like the food processing plants. I don't know. Like I said, I don't know if they were breaking my balls, but they said it was accidents. I'm like, is he joking? Is he for real? What the fuck's going on? I mean, how do we think? How do we think, guys, that all of this shit going on is an accident? I mean, like, seriously. It's just interesting that some people think that it's an accident or coincidence. And yes, I said this with Morgan, Rogue Preparedness. I said this with her last night. I'm like, yes, there is a small wiggle room, not even a wiggle room, just a small, tiny fraction of a room where it could be accidents. And yes, it could be coincidental, considering we don't have enough workers, we don't have enough people looking after the machines, we don't have enough people, producing shit. Yeah, it could be, but that's like this, right? The more plausible excuse is it's a planned event, and it's just insane. Because I mean, listen, for all the shit that's going on, guys. I mean, one or two things happen, maybe three. You're like, all right, it's a coincidence. Number four, you're like, there's a pattern. And there's obviously a pattern here with all of this shit that we have going on, right? So we have a supply chain issue, which everybody blamed on COVID. Evan, thank you for the donation, right? We have worker issues, people getting fired and can't find any work at the same time. It's strange. We have fertilizer issues, whether that's it being stopped from delivery or an explosion in India, what was it, yesterday or the day before, at one of their bigger fertilizer plants. We have production issues across the board on everything. We have food issues, food processing plant fires. We have food price increasing. We have fuel issues. We have fuel price increases. We have mass shooting, the Second Amendment under attack, monkeypox, nosebleed fever, Marburg virus is back on the radar. We have the Ukraine-Russia fight. We got Russia threatening to bomb us every day of the week, it seems. We have the World War III is started, if people haven't realized it. We have inflation, shrinkflation, and the economy, which even Elon Musk is worried about, is why he's looking to lay off 10% of his company. He's trying to make sure his company survives, so he jumps right into that today, announcing that he wants to lay off 10% of his workers, not that he has. And that was after the market tumbled, or his shares tumbled 9%. He's worried about the economy, like everybody else should be worried about the economy. Because when the economy shits to bed, it's going to get bad. Have Alexandra, thank you for the donation. Appreciate it. Right? I mean, guys, it's all of these things are not a coincidence. One or two, you're like, okay, all right. There's food issues and processing plant fires. Okay, that's a coincidence. But then you're like, wait a minute, fertilizer too? And now now there's a tick that's carrying a fucking virus around that's infecting humans through animal blood. I'm like, there's no fucking way, right? So, Large Cash Productions, man, thank you for the donation. I will definitely watch that. I watched a couple of interesting documentaries today just because I was watching one video and then it rolled over into a documentary, which I found interesting. It was the one about Apple, Google, and Amazon, and they were talking about how these guys are making too much money and they shouldn't, and it should be broken up and all this other bullshit. And I'm like, I said, all right, fair enough. I believe that these companies are making too much money, but I also think that this is what happens when people make a product that people want and or think they need. When people make a product they think they need, or they provide them a service that provides you now and not 5 days from now or 7 days from now, how do you fault them for making something that no one else is smart enough to think of? So they want to break up that monopoly. Whatever. Warren John, thank you for the donation, man. Appreciate it. Jason List. Yes, exactly. That's the article I was reading just before I got on here. Right? So Jason List says the Russian spokesman said the horses of the apocalypse are already riding and it's in God's hands now. Now, guys, these threats that they're making, these are constant. Russia, I'm talking about. These are constant threats. we're going to bomb the East and the West Coast with 4 nuclear, device, which again, it's virtually impossible to wipe out all of the West Coast and East Coast with their missiles. They have to launch like, somebody said they have to launch like 12 to wipe out the East and the East and West Coast, whatever. But Russia's been making these claims, and now Russia is bringing in the Bible to talk about this. That means things are getting desperate over there, or they're getting senile, delusional. Because now, why is the Russian media and Russian spokespeople talking about the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse are being released? What the fuck is that? Right? So, again, guys, all interesting shit. Find the right passion. Did you hear that right from Russia? I heard that right from Russia state media. I mean, listen, they're the propaganda channels of all propaganda channels. I think they make CNN look fucking honest, and CNN's pretty fucking bad. But nonetheless, they still said it, and you can go. I mean, if you speak Russian, I'm pretty sure you can translate it. Or they're using it. Jason listed, or they're using it as their playbook. You're right. They're probably listen. Whatever it is, man. Nonetheless, a lot of things are not adding up. Oh, sorry. Rather, they're starting to add up with the way Russia is talking. Now, Russia's talking all that yin yang, right? It's interesting that they're talking this shit. And at the same note, I think some of you guys read this article the other day. Marking on it. Yes, Hudson Valley. Yeah, Mike, I saw that. I saw that article as well about fucking Russia making a move on the Ukraine border. Big Al, thank you for the donation. So, guys, with that, U.S. intelligence seems to think, not saying that it's true, but Putin has been acting fucking weird for the last few months. So something's up. With that being said, U.S. intelligence community believes that President Putin's health is suffering and that he is possibly being treated for cancer. Now, he is trying to remain strong, so he's probably taking a host of meds to keep him upright while he's going through whatever treatment he's going through. I thought someone said prostate cancer, right? Or I don't know, whatever cancer he got, may eat his body whole. I don't know. But listen, if he died tomorrow, I can care fucking less. I'm not going to be one of those guys. He was a valid war. No, fuck him. Good for him. It's called fucking karma. With that, guys, the assessment support that the theory that Putin was missing from the world stage for much of April because he was undergoing treatment for advanced cancer. And there was another video where they zeroed in on a mark on his face that looked like he had a dark spot on his skin. And then with that, they also zeroed in on the fact that it looks like he's wearing makeup to cover up whatever blotches he's developing from the treatments he's getting. So we are seeing this for ourselves, and we're looking at it. And yes, something's off about him. I can't put my finger on it, and I can't sit here and believe U.S. intelligence completely. I'm sorry. As much as I would love to, especially when they're talking about Putin, I just can't sit here and be like, yes, they're right. I don't know. They could be lying too. They could be stirring the fucking pot. Who knows? But nonetheless, it is something to consider. America will survive. Oh, listen, guys. America will survive. Samsung Galaxy, Black Crab. That was a good movie, by the way. That was a pretty good movie. That was a telling movie. That was a good movie. Yeah, well, a lot of people have iodine, guys. So again, the nuclear talk is coming back because they. But you know what's funny? Early this year, when they were talking about nuclear war and Putin and Russia and China, and now it seemed to have died. Now monkeypox is like the new thing. And by the way, they've been giving warnings to the gay men community. Be like, yo, keep your dick in your pants. This is the year for you guys to be philandering, or at the very least wear condoms. That's going on here in New York City, by the way, because the Gay Pride Parade is in 3 weeks, if I'm not mistaken. So that should be interesting. We should see an explosion of monkeypox by the second week of July. And that's my speculation, just because of its incubation period and the amount of fucking sex that'll be going on that week or month. We should see an explosion in a monkeypox. Right now, New York has 5 cases, so that's expected to go up dramatically, especially approaching the week of the gay guy swinging dildos in the middle of the street. So we shall see how far that goes. Putin does ride a Vespa. Yeah, whatever, man. Um, listen, Putin dying, the Bilderberg meeting happening, Elon Musk worry about the economy. Again, guys, this is all shit we've been following. Um, Stella VW says Putin is healthy. We got another Putin sympathizer on here. I don't know how many times I tell people, if you're a Putin sympathizer, this American channel's not for you. You might as well watch fucking Russia State TV and let them lie to you. And listen, Russia State TV is not even talking about his health. They're not even addressing it. So the fact that they're not addressing it, tells me that there's something wrong with his health. America is a liar. Well, Rachel, America lies, but so does the Russians. So again, I'm gonna believe American intel before, but I don't want to believe them wholeheartedly because again, they have been caught lying, or they lie to us a lot. But when it comes to this, and we are seeing Putin being irrational, we are seeing Putin act differently. There was even a lady who was a Russian expert, if that's even a thing, when she was working under Trump, and she noticed his behavior has changed as well. So for those of us that have been following Putin for a long time, his behavior has changed. But nonetheless, guys, if he is dying, great. If he's not dying, maybe next time. But regardless, all of this shit that's happening, we have been following for a very long time. I would say for a lot of us, we've been following for years. But for the rest of us, a very, very long time. And it's just interesting that we have this list of shit going on, and people are still trying to deny what's going on. That's what's really mind-boggling to me. I mean, I understand people are naive. I get that people are naive. But to the point where you ignore all the shit that's going on, that's crazy. That is true, Cottage Farm. I mean, yes. But again, our media lies to us about what's his name's health. They say he's healthy. There's no way Biden's healthy. No way at all. I'm waiting for Biden to fucking lick glass in the White House and be caught doing that. Somebody standing on the lawn takes a picture of this old man licking glass. Then I'd be like, yo, listen, we all know what's going on with Biden. We've watched him decline over the years. So again, the same thing goes for Putin. We're watching this guy fucking decline. He is more agitated than ever. He's firing his top military rank, because of the slow-moving campaign of Ukraine. So again, guys, listen, you can argue that Putin is the greatest, that our media is lying. Our media could be lying, but guess whose media is definitely lying? Fucking Russia State TV. Hence is why they call it state media, guys. Because the state runs that media. Whereas with us, I guess you would say Soros runs our media, or Klaus Schwab, has a little pull on there, and so does Bill Gates, right? But state media is fucking says it all. Same thing with the Chinese television, guys. It's all run by the government, right? So I'm a little more inclined to believe our media over fucking Russia State TV. They've been threatening us left and right and telling us how they're gonna wipe us off the map with 4 nuclear weapons. Come on. And that's why, yes, TDO, if I said it right, sorry, that's why they call it TV. Kimberly Hurley, is our country past the point of no return? Yes, we are. I believe so. I believe so. I don't think there's a kill switch or reset button or anything that you want to look at. I think we're past that point. Propaganda, large cash productions. Yes, it's all propaganda, right? But if I'm going to believe any propaganda, I'm going to go with the United States first. And even then, I still look at what they say and go, I don't know. Maybe they could be lying. They could be telling the truth, right? That's why I stand on the fence with our media. But with state TV, I'm not even on the fence. I'm just like, they're lying. They could tell us right now that a meteor is about to crash into the planet, Russia State TV, and I could be looking at this media, I'm like, Russian propaganda. That's how badly they lie. And Russia TV has been lying probably about as long as we have, but they're more blatant about it. Whereas at least the United States tries to dress it up with bullshit. And I'm not trying to make excuses for the United States. Listen, a lot of the media bullshit that's on there is fucking horseshit. But nonetheless, we're going to sit there and start believing state media TV. That's fucking an asshole's move. And the growing food. Militant Roots says grow food. Yes, guys, if you have a backyard or a bucket, start growing food. But you hopefully, if you can grow that food, you can store it away long term. Because obviously, after you grow that food, what are you going to do with it? You got to fucking either freeze dry it or dehydrate it, right? So if you're growing a garden, guys, make sure you have something where you can store this away for a long period of time. Because I think when this kicks off, we're going to be in this for the long haul. This is not going to be a 1 or 2 year thing or a couple of months. This is going to be the long haul, or whatever the fuck it is, whatever the fuck we're going through. So with that, I think I spoke about the Deagle report to you guys, or at least I mentioned it the other day, and I did a video on it today. And I was looking at this Deagle report, guys, and a lot of the shit that this Deagle report was talking about makes you think what's going on, right? But with that, man, I think, I don't know. I think that if you look at this Deagle, and you can't find, if you could find the Deagle report, please email me, or the PDF file, please email me at angryprepper@gmail.com. But I got a lot of the points from gathering information over the internet about this Deagle report. So the Deagle report, which is supposed to be an organization, a Deagle organization, they said they were a true intelligence organization for the United States government. These people predicted by 2025, 50 to 80% of the global population will disappear, dead. They are following a model that directed them to this thesis and conclusion. The problem with this model is they don't let anybody else know what the model they were using, which I find interesting. Few people are familiar with the website, and even more say the organization does not legitimately exist, though WikiLeaks document reveals its legitimacy. And they refer to the material as the Stratford Report, which the Stratford Report is known for as known intelligence community and a consultant for the CIA and or shadow CIA, which if you guys know about the shadow CIA, I know very little about them other than what I've been told. But this came up in this report. Now, guys, interestingly enough, in this Deagle report, everybody else will see a decrease in population with the exception of China, Russia, and India, and a couple of other nations, I think like North Korea and South Korea, right? But all the other America and its allies will see a large population decrease. So, starting with, all right, so now keep this in mind. World population as of right now is 7.9 billion people. That's as of 2022. In the report, keep in mind, they said that the global population will drop by 50 to 80%. So we are now 7.9 billion. The United Kingdom has 68 million people in it, and they'll have a reduction of 15 million people. The United States has 334 million. They said that we would have 100 million people less, or we would have a deduction of 100 million people. Canada has 38 million people. They will have a deduction of 26 million. Germany has 84 million. They will see a deduction of 28 million people. France has 65 million. They will see a deduction of 39 million. Australia has a population of 26 million, guys, on that whole island. They will see a deduction of 15 million. China, Russia, India, and Africa would have been untouched in this depopulation scheme, which I find interesting, that everybody else will have a depopulation event and the other side of the world won't. So Japan will also see a depopulation Japan will also see a decrease in people. So will Denmark, and if I'm not mistaken, the UK, right? The UK will also have that, deduction in people, and other U.S. allies, which they don't go over the U.S. allies. Now, the interesting thing about this, guys, is that they don't mention how or what happens, though they did throw 3 ideas out there. pandemic, climate change, and the Third World War or nuclear war. So that was the three things that they used that could happen, but they didn't hone in on what was going to happen. This report disappeared off the internet, by the way. So it appeared last year sometime, and then this year, I think they said in February, April, or sorry, March or April, it just disappeared. So with that, guys, they mentioned that there will be a new paradigm that is implemented, and many of us will have to cope or adjust. Pandemic, vax countries. Uh, yeah, seems like it. But then again, yeah, seems like it. Because I forget, India, Russia, and China use their own vaccines. In Africa, a lot of the nations in Africa didn't touch that shit. So I don't know. That could be something. But I think climate change or climate whatever is the least likely of them, because for that kind of population decrease, I doubt very much that climate change can do that in the next 3 years, right? So the only thing, we're all going to die. Hudson Valley said we're all going to die. Um, yeah, listen, guys, we're either going to cope or adjust. And a lot of people are not going to be able to cope or adjust with this. So it's just something to keep in the back of your head. I thought the report was interesting, and the report became more interesting as we started seeing what was going on, and we're hearing what's going on. We hear other people like Soros and Klaus Schwab and that guy Charles Nenner talk about the depopulation of society. So with that, and then this report pops up last year and then disappears. You also have Bill Gates talking about the next pandemic will be a bioterrorist attack. You also had a Harvard tech expert say the same thing, except for the Harvard tech expert said something very, very interesting. The Harvard tech expert seems to think that the next pandemic might be a bioterrorist attack, but it might be through the way of CRISPR gene editing. So they seem to think that there's going to be some gene editing involved to create this next pandemic, whatever it is. Um, he says, and this is his words. He goes. The tech expert has warned that the accessibility to CRISPR gene editing might make this a tailored attack. He says that it's super easy for people to get their hands on CRISPR gene editing technology. With that, they did gene edit a cockroach for the first time. So I don't know if they're going to make it a super cockroach or the picture I saw, it was elongated. It was a longer caterpillar looking like cockroach, but nonetheless it was a cockroach. So that was proven that it can be done. The tech expert says that it's almost as easy as engineering life form as it is to edit Microsoft Word documents. That's how easy it is. Right, and so maybe if you get a Mark the Shark, maybe if you get one of these gene editing things, you could edit yourself a Godzilla. Who knows? Or bring back dinosaurs. Whatever floats your boat, man. So there should have been an international threat prevention for the use of CRISPR for gene editing on humans or animals. The USDA and Drug Administration, should have kept companies from selling DIY gene editing kits. I didn't even know they sold these kits, guys, and they sell them for fucking cheap. They sell them for anywhere between $150 to $400 for a gene editing kit. That's crazy, because you're putting the power of essentially God in the hands of people who now they want to gene edit their sperm or their embryo, for example, and make a super soldier or just make some crazy freak looking kid. They can do it now. Now, obviously, there's going to be a lot of misses instead of hits, but still, the fact that they have DIY gene editing kits out there is fucking crazy. So, in 2015, the Chinese researchers, two of them, genetically engineered a human embryo. This was followed by the failed attempt to genetically modify the two babies to be HIV resistant in 2018. They were subsequently thrown in jail for 3 years, and this is in China. Now, I don't know if they were thrown in jail because they failed the project, right? If their experiment failed and that's why they were thrown in jail, or were they thrown in jail for legitimately modifying two babies that were HIV resistant? So that is interesting. Now, being that we are not ready for a bio attack, we're not ready for anything, guys. We're not even ready for another pandemic. The United States is just not ready. No country is. And the reality of it is, guys, if a lot of you watch the news, I know we're going back to this again. Steve Spillman, yeah, it's not enough, but it is what it is. So we're gonna go back to this again. If God, I lost my train of thought. Sorry. We are not ready for the next pandemic. And the bottom line is, guys, it doesn't matter how many ventilators and how many O2 masks and O2 tanks and N95 masks and beds and all this other bullshit. It doesn't matter how much of this shit they have. Hospitals do not have the capacity to take on everybody in their neighborhood or their county, right? If you live in a county, you have one of those county hospitals, your hospital's not built for that. Harlem Hospital, St. Luke's, Presbyterian behind me, cannot handle everybody in these neighborhoods between there to go there if they're all sick. They are just not able to handle the next pandemic. That is the bottom line. Yes, there is a capacity that they can go up to, and then once it reaches that capacity, that's it, man. It's done. Anybody else who comes in after that, you're fucking toast. Now, if you get sick, you want to be the first wave of people to get sick. You do not want to be the fucking third or fourth wave of people to get sick, because then you are dying. Period. Right? I mean, unless if it's one of those pandemics that cause you to pass away with a high mortality rate. Yes. But it's just the truth, guys. So all of this bullshit that they're sitting there, the United States is not ready for the next pandemic. They're just they're just ill-equipped. No, it's not that we're ill-equipped. We just have too many motherfuckers in this country. That's it. There's certain hospitals. I don't even know a hospital that can handle any amount of people in their area. I just don't know any. And even if they had the capacity, guys, to put people somewhere and treat them, they don't have enough manpower to do so. They don't have enough doctors and they don't have enough nurses. And even if you had enough doctors, at some point those doctors are going to get burned out from seeing people passing away and dying. They're going to see this fucking continuously. And they're going to get burned out. And that's going to leave less hands available to help. So, is any country able to help during any pandemic? No. It absolutely can't. It won't work that way. There's not enough helping hands in the world to make a difference. Hudson Valley is on a roll today with the Society's Doom. Smash the like button, and then he's like, hospitals are toast. But yeah, guys, my hospital has 28 beds. Mouse in the House says my hospital has 28 beds. Listen, guys, again, we're going to go back to the media lying. Yes, the media, and rather the government and politicians, let's start with them, because the media soaks up what the politicians tell them. That's one. Two, politicians are going to lie and say, we have to get ready. They tell the public, we're going to get ready for the next one. And the public goes, oh man, that's cool. Our senator and our politicians, they're going to get us ready for the next pandemic. And people are going to sit there and believe this shit because they're stupid. You know, I mean, and that's what it comes down to. We have just a lot of stupid people that believe a lot of stupid shit. You know, and they'll believe it, and the government will go, well, we got these idiots to believe them. We have a small percentage of people who don't believe us, and hopefully they could take care of themselves. And we are that percentage. We're that percentage, guys, that can hopefully take care of ourselves. Right? Unless we get sick with whatever fucking bullshit they plan to push, we can take care of ourselves. 40 minutes. Wow. That was fast. So, along the lines, guys, of a bio attack, Bill Gates said the same thing last year. He says that the next pandemic that comes along, that it's going to be way of a bioterrorist attack. His outlook on that is a little different because he says he mentioned it even earlier this year. Earlier this year, he states that could be a possibility. And with that, guys, here comes monkeypox. Now he said that early this. He said that last year, and he said that about a month ago. Now all of a sudden we have this monkeypox outbreak. Coincidence? Whatever you think, right? With that, he thinks that we have a 50% chance of a naturally occurring pandemic. Whatever, dude. So that's what he's telling us. But he doesn't dismiss the fact that there could be somebody out there right now sitting in a lab creating some shit. So he is, he's not completely oblivious. But the lab shit, when he mentioned that, I'm like, of course he knows about the lab shit. He's the one, they're the ones that are like, doing the thing with that shit. But anyway, guys, he thinks that in the next 20 years we'll have a natural occurrence. That's what he thinks. He warned us about COVID, and it happened. Guess what? We have this happening, right? So, is he warning us, or is he warning somebody else? That's my bigger question. That's what I'd like to know. Now, he was asked, guys, how could we prevent this? His response was, he wants WHO to get a 25% increase in their budget, I guess from the states and countries and states. Sorry. So he wants WHO to get a fucking a 25% increase in their budget. This motherfucker could give them that, I'm pretty sure. And not the point, not that he should. I'm not saying he should, but he's calling for that. He goes, what happened is that if because of these rumors, there are people who do not get the arm ticket and who do not want to wear the commie cover, these consequences are terrible. So now he's putting it back on us. Of course he is. Listen, guys. Putin, Bill Gates, Chinese president. I hope they all get ass cancer. I really do. These are the people that are ruining the world. As far as our current president, he's not going to make it too far. He's not going to get ass cancer. He's going to forget who the fuck he is, and he's going to forget to wake up. That's a different story altogether. These politicians who are leading us down this fucking rabbit hole, it's interesting how they know what they're doing, we know what they're doing, but the public doesn't know what they're doing. But the public looks at us and tells us, well, how do you know what they're doing? Because we're following the breadcrumbs, because we're not that stupid. But they're like, yeah, but that's conspiracy theory. Really, was it conspiracy theory when we said that there was going to be this fucking outbreak in this disease, and then it happened? And didn't we warn you guys about the shortages of shit, and now it's happening? And now we have the shortage of food, fuel, and it's going to happen. And to boot, we have an energy crisis right around the corner come July, or the hot week that we have, whatever state or region of the country has a first hot week. We're going to see fucking rolling blackouts, if not straight out blackouts. And we've been warning people about that. And yet we're still crazy. So listen, we shall see. Nobody under 50 has a smallpox shot. Well, listen, Liquid Electrum, they think the smallpox shot can work. They're not 100% sure. That's the other thing too. And the other thing, for those who had the smallpox shot, the shots, it should have worn off, and you probably needed a re-up a few years back. So there is that. But listen, guys, nobody knows nothing. The science community knows shit. I'm sorry, but there's not one scientist that can tell me, well, this is what it is, because you told us so much and lied. You got everything wrong. There hasn't been one thing they got right. None of them. The self-proclaimed scientist, Bill Gates, he's got everything wrong. I read this article today about how to avoid civilization ending. And in the article, guys, they go about where you could move or where you should end up if the apocalypse happened. And they fucking named Australia and fucking China. China. And you know what the excuse why China was on that list of places that would survive the apocalypse? Because how they handled Mr. 19. So, and I mean COVID-19. Because they handled Mr. 19 in such a way, they took charge and they lowered their numbers. Is what this fucking asshole who did this study said. And I'm like, you mean to tell me? And as soon as he said China was going to be the lead, in surviving the apocalypse because of how they handled Mr. 19. I'm like, wait a minute, you kidding me? You mean to tell me that that's what you're basing it on because their numbers were low when in fact they lied about the numbers and they weren't truthful to who or the CDC about the numbers? They lied to everybody about the numbers. And then we watched on TV various videos how they handled it, and that's how they're supposed to handle COVID, by locking people in their buildings and welding shit shut. That article went right out the fucking window as soon as he mentioned that. He was like, and China, that was it, I stopped. And then he said Australia, because they're an island nation and they can absolutely stop people from coming on. So that made a little bit of sense. But giving China its accolades for fucking a pandemic in the ass and then trying to make them look like heroes. That guy was a definite fucking plant. If I ever fucking read an article, that was it. He was like, they did such a great job handling it. No, they didn't. Fucking Norway, Iceland, those are a bunch of countries that handled it way better than China. They should have been on that survivability list, but they weren't. China was. China was number one, and then Australia. I was like, get the fuck out of here, China. That was stupid. It was dumb. It was the worst thing I've ever seen. And I stopped reading the article halfway through. But anyway, it's exactly, guys. It's bullshit. It's the worst fucking. It was the worst study written. Matter of fact, guys, if I could find it, I'm gonna share it with you so we can all suffer in misery, because it was a god awful article. It was just the way it was written, and this guy tried to make himself sound like a fucking scientist. And you're not. So I found an interesting story today. Some white dude here in the city killed the Chinese delivery guy because he didn't get duck sauce in his order. I thought that was a little bizarre, if you ask me. All right. Hold on. Let's see if I can get this to you guys. All right. Incoming link, guys. Yes, all you guys should read this, and we should all suffer together. Like, fuck that. Why should I have to fucking suffer through reading this fucking horse shit? It was the worst garbage, the worst article ever written. I think a retarded 5-year-old could have wrote a better article than this shit. This was fucking bad. That's how bad it was. When you read it, you'd be like, what the fuck were we reading? Who wrote this? Biden? It was that bad. Yes, Liquid Electrum. I heard about the handgun ban in Canada. I got to read more up on it. Now, Steve Spillman. Here's the problem, guys. Here is the problem with the Second Amendment. These fucking people do not give a shit. I hope you guys understand that. I hope you understand that they don't fucking care. They are going to nitpick the shit out of this until it's completely gone. The new laws that they got coming down for here in New York, that's New York State alone. They're sitting there, guys, touting themselves here in New York State as the lead, and we have stricter gun laws than any other state. But we cannot sit idly by and let more people get hurt. We have to make them tighter. I'm like, how much more fucking tighter do you want them to be? Until our fucking nuts pop? But this is what they want to do. So, Senate Bill S9458 relates to the purchase or taking possession of a semi-automatic rifle. Requires a license to purchase or take possession of a semi-automatic rifle. Establishes the crime of criminal purchase of a semi-automatic rifle and criminal sale of a semi-automatic rifle. Requires recertification of license to purchase or take possession of semi-automatic rifles every 5 years. This bill also raises the age from 18 to 21 for purchase of a semi-automatic rifle. Now, there are a lot of asshole 18-year-olds out there. They're all over the place. You could fucking throw a rock and hit an 18-year-old asshole. But the fact that we are changing laws for hundreds of millions of people, well, here in New York State, millions of people, sorry, we're making changes for millions of people here in the in New York State for the actions of two. I find that to be fucking disturbingly wrong. And if we're not at the fucking state capitol doing some shit, we are doing something wrong. Because the fact that two assholes did some shit, one in Texas and one here in New York, and now everybody has to suffer for that, because this is just making shit harder. Then they also have in the same bill, or in the same, no, not in the same bill, but there's another bill that also restricts body armor from civilians. Here in New York City, you cannot own body armor, but I think in the rest of the state you can, but they're taking it away from civilians across the board. There's another bill that will expand the red flag law here in New York, expanding the list of people who can file for extreme risk protection orders, which allows the court to temporarily seize firearms from anyone they believe to be a danger to themselves or others. This is New York, guys, and it's getting worse. Now listen, I'm out of here in a couple months, so this fucking state can kiss my dick. But still, this is them nitpicking it until it's gone, until it's all the way gone, if that's a thing, right? And then we have two federal bills that are in place. Now, these two federal bills, they were introduced last year. We have HR 2377, Federal Extreme Risk Protection Order Act of 2021, and then we have HR 8, Bipartisan Background Check Act of 2021. These two bills were introduced and they've been stalled. I forgot at what level, because of they say Republicans are to blame, which is fucking complete bullshit. And then they have a universal, I guess, bill called the Protect Our Kids Act, and that's, again, they want to raise the federal age of firearms to 21. So whatever states still, what most states, if not all, have 18, they want to raise it federally across the board to 21. Now, the Bipartisan Background Check Act of 2021, that's bad. Why is it bad? Because that gives the United States government access to every last person who owns a firearm in this country. That is bad. You don't want that. So that bill needs to be fought tooth and nail. The Federal Extreme Risk Protection, that's another one you want to fight, because if they deem you a kook, if you tell them you're a prepper, for example, that can fucking 86 your chance of getting a firearm through the Federal Extreme Risk Protection Order. So that's another one that has to be held off. Now, the Federal Extreme Risk Protection Order Act of 2021, an extreme risk protection order is a federal court order that prohibits a person from purchasing, possessing, or receiving a firearm or ammunition. A family or household member or law enforcement officer may petition for an extreme risk protection order with respect to the individual who poses a risk to themselves or others. So, if you have a disgruntled piece of shit ex-wife, if you have one of those, she can definitely fuck your life up with this extreme risk order. So again, guys, something to consider. The Bipartisan Background Check Act, specifically, it prohibits firearm transfer between private parties unless a licensed gun dealer, manufacturer, or importer first takes possession of the firearm to conduct a background check. The prohibition does not apply to certain firearm transfers or exchange, such as gifts between spouse in good faith. So I guess your wife can give you a firearm and that's fine, but between friends and anybody else, that's going to be 86. This bill will give the federal government an ever-growing list of every gun owner in America. That's what I was just saying about the background check. By tracking the transfers of each and every firearm in this country. Guys, the Second Amendment is under attack again. I mean, it's always under attack, but now the fucking Second Amendment is taking fucking mortar rounds, right? First they were pinging at it, the ping ping, and then the fucking Second Amendment was like fucking deflecting itself. Now it's taking actual mortar rounds. And it's only a matter of time before they hit, and then what? Something's gonna have to happen, right? Firearm registry, yes. Again, Spillman, you listen. I get it. It's against the Constitution, but we're living in a world where these people do not give a fuck about the Constitution. Everybody needs to stop saying, "Well, the Constitution and it's against the law." You got to stop that shit. Well, we have to start doing something. Saying that, saying and repeating the same thing as it's against the law to take it away from us because of the Constitution, it doesn't fucking matter at this point. It doesn't. We have to enact action now. We have to take action. That's where we are. Because if we don't and we sit here and we keep saying the same shit, they're going to erode the Second Amendment till there's nothing left. Biden yesterday said that no amendment is absolute. He said that out of his mouth. Now, I take what he says with a grain of salt, but the fact that he says no amendment is absolute, guys, means that's some shit a tyrant would say, or a communist. Well, Steve Spillman, exactly. They break all the gun laws, so shouldn't we be doing the same? Should not we be doing the fucking same? Especially if we are honest, working, fucking on the level people, we should be doing the same. We shouldn't be registering any of our shit. Fuck them. Fuck them. And still, if you're going to make a purchase between our friends, do so. Again, fuck them. Because they are allowing so many other bigger things to happen, and they're worried about this. We've had, and again, guys, keep this in mind. They lowered the mass shooting number from, I think it was like 8 or 9. No, I think it was like 7 or 8 to 3 to 4, which it should be either or, like integrative preparedness said, right? And if it's 3, for example, anything over 3, and it's considered a mass shooting. So when Chicago last week and Detroit had their shootings and it was a fucking bonanza, people were getting shot at parties. If 5 people got shot in that party, they considered it a mass shooting and not a gang shooting. When gang members are getting shot and they're all standing together and 6 of them get shot, it's now a mass shooting and not a gang shooting. They changed the fucking verbiage around and make it look bigger than it is. So according to a CNN asshole, and I'm going to go off in a couple minutes because I have the angry truth to come on. But guys, they changed this around so that they can grow their argument, is what they're doing, right? So they no longer talk about gang shootings, they call it mass shootings. They call it mass shootings so that people can go, oh, look at that. So a CNN reporter, right, an asshole piece of shit, says, since Uvalde, there has been 20 mass shootings. This bitch said 20 mass shootings since Uvalde. You know why? Because the fucking Memorial Day weekend, and there were fucking shootings all over the goddamn country. And it happened to be a lot of people that were getting shot in groups. But they weren't mass shootings. There were a lot of gang fucking fights. There's gang violence in every city, pretty much every city, sorry. You had gang violence that exploded in Detroit and Chicago. You had gang violence that exploded here in New York. On Memorial Day weekend, the fucking gang shootings here were fucking out of control. And so with that, they're calling gang shootings mass shootings. So forget about the fact that you have a gang problem. You want to try to make it a gun problem, but you're not restricting criminals. You're not throwing criminals in jail for holding these guns illegally. You're giving them less time than they're supposed to get, and it's a fact. If you look it up, look at the amount of time gangbangers are getting now, especially in a city like New York. They're getting less time than they're supposed to, unless they're repeat offenders. They are, in some cases, the case is getting thrown out if they just had the gun on them, but they didn't use it. But you want to fucking throw regular citizens in jail for transferring weapons if they don't go through the legal route. Does that make any sense? No. Why? Because we're letting it happen. Because we're sitting here saying shit like, well, the Constitution says. Doesn't matter what it fucking says. They don't give a fuck. So we have to go another route. We have to. Because then we'll be sitting here on fucking YouTube like, well, the Constitution says they can't take it away. And we're going to be rocking back and forth like some fucking Alzheimer's patient fucking wondering why our guns are gone. Well, they're gone because we sat here and we let it fucking happen and we didn't fucking do anything about it. Now, if any one of you are ready to fucking actually go to the fucking state capitol and start protesting or some shit, something, let me fucking know. Because something has got to be done. And that's the other thing too. The New York State wants to implement a buyback program for large capacity magazines. That's the other thing. They want to add more funding to the state so that they can give it to certain counties and regions for large capacity mags. Well, guys, listen. You guys know my email. Email me if you have any ideas at angryprepper@gmail.com. I'm in on it. Whatever the fucking ideas you got. Because it's fucking bullshit. Again, we're going to sit here and keep letting them fucking, nitpick the shit out of it until it falls completely apart. North Shore Preparedness, man. Thank you for joining me. Appreciate it. Roger that, Mike. All right, guys. So with that, I'm going to switch over to the Angry Truth channel. What are we talking about on the Angry Truth? We're talking about, well, I guess, yeah, I talked about half of it already. Fuck me. But there's two other things I'm going to talk about on the Angry Truth. But I was supposed to talk about the Second Amendment restrictions, and I talked about it on here. So I will see you guys over at the Angry Truth channel. And with that, guys, thank you for the donations. Thank you for supporting me. Thank you for my bullshit. Also, don't forget to give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down, whatever floats your fucking boat. Whatever, guys. Just let's get the algorithm fucking kicking up and alive. There are 1,500 people watching. Let's get the thumbs up to close to that. All right, guys? Other than that, see you over in the Angry Truth. Later, y'all.